everyone, and welcome to another SheProp panel. We are very excited to start a new season of SheProp panels. And because it is the third anniversary of when SheProp was started, we figured we'd kick it off with meeting the people who founded this group. It's a great group of ladies that I am very proud to know, and I can't wait to get started on the panel. But first, let's find out a little bit about what SheProp is. SheProp is a growing community that is focused upon representing female, non-binary, two-spirit, and transgender cosplay artists. You can check out more SheProp panels on YouTube, or if you love podcasts, we have panels and other content you can listen to through the SheProp Talk podcast, wherever you find your podcasts. And if you want to join us, or if you are an ally and want to show your support, search SheProp and you will find us on all the social medias. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Abby of Abby Cat Cosplay. I am one of the founding members of SheProp. I am also an admin and one of the producers and moderator of the SheProp panels. We are starting some live ones this year, which will be fun. And I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Hey everyone, I'm Silhouette of Silhouette Cosplay. I am a SheProp founding member and admin, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, somewhere thereabouts.
Okay, hi, I'm Eliza from Eldritch Arts, my cosplay business, and I'm from Western Massachusetts. I'm one of the founding members of SheProp and one of the admins and, general mad person and slacker, and here we are.
I'm Beverly from Downen Creative Studios, and I'm the founder of SheProp, and I actually founded this with Abby. We were talking about it, and we said we needed a space for us to go talk about cosplay stuff online, and there wasn't one, so I made it. And it's our birthday month this month. Yay!
Well, thank you all for joining us here to have a celebratory anniversary panel. And I can't wait to hear more about your stories and how SheProp has impacted you. But let's start from the very beginning. So how did SheProp start? And I think we all know who is supposed to answer this question.
Yeah, I'll answer. If you are somehow unfamiliar with the story of how SheProp started, I will sum it up in a short version. Hopefully it'll be the short version. I got really sick and tired of having people come up to me and ask me if my husband made my props or my costumes, asking me, just talking to me as if I didn't know what I was talking about or what I was doing. And all of the other ugly and unpleasant traits that can happen to women online, certainly in this cosplay world. So I wanted to have something comparable to the RPF, but without the RPF part. And so I was frustrated, and I was expressing my frustration with my friends, and Abby was there that day. And it's like, I wish we had a forum for just women. And so I made it. And can I sidebar just for a quick second and talk about what the name was going to be called?
I love the story about what was pitched as a name.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
Yeah, I don't know this.
Yeah, so we were coming up with names, and I knew that I wanted the word prop in there, but or something like that. And so one of the suggestions that I threw out there was, she bought prop.
Yep.
Which, if you are familiar with Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah,
that would ring alarm bells. Yeah,
she bought props was thrown out, and I was thinking
rolls off the tongue.
You can't do that. Because also
that's
locally,
a totally different group.
in Portland, there's also a store called SheProp that ties in nicely with the theme of the Cyndi Lauper song. So really, we could not be called SheBop. And I was like, do I have to point out this? Please don't make me explain why I'm vetoing this name.
It was vetoed, thankfully, and SheProp was born. Yeah. Yay!
Yay.
And I want to know what, Eliza and Louisa, I want to know what you thought when you were asked to participate. And Louisa, let's start with you.
Who messaged me? I think it was Sharon, one of our other founding admins. She messaged me and was like, hey, Beverly had this idea and we kind of want you on board. And I was like, yes, because having been in places like the Replica platform and basically any other online space where you are a public figure and a woman specifically, you always are, without meaning to, opening yourself up to these comments, which essentially boil down to mansplaining and assuming you don't know what you're talking about or that someone else did this for you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm so tired of it because I love sharing my work and my process and everything, publicly on these spaces so people can learn and we can share ideas and share a passion for cosplay and costumes. But then these comments come in and it's just that I wish I hadn't posted that. And I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling that I have to censor myself or overthink everything that I have to post in order to sort of preemptively avoid those type of comments. So when I heard about this space that Beverly wanted to put together, I was like, yes, please. We need a space where I don't feel like I have to censor myself or be really hyper aware of what I'm saying in case it could, open up for someone else to say something cruel or tactless or funny. And so I thought it was a fabulous idea. And I was immediately on board with this.
And Elizabeth, what about you?
I actually have this specific memory of being in a thread in the RPF, like before SheProp, and I don't remember if I feel like maybe I posted something asking a question to the group, and I was getting or some other woman posted something, and there was all these stupid, horrible comments, and Beverly jumped in the comments, and we were talking in the comments, and I was getting really frustrated, and Bev said something like, oh, you should just make your own group. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of too lazy to do that. I was like, I would if I had time. and then like shortly after, Beverly made the group, and I was like, great, let's work for me. But I'm still an admin.
You can gladly take a slice of the pie without cooking the pie.
Yes, exactly. Well, but yeah, so I was pretty psyched she took the initiative and did that because it was very sorely needed, I think.
That's so awesome. I feel like I remember that too, just getting like really angry behind my keyboard, just like, I just want to reach through the screen and like, just take care of all of this for everybody and get rid of all the negative everything. But yeah, I mean, what else can you do but try to make a change yourself?
But, well, before SheProp was started, Beverly started a different group called the Amazon Sisters of the Mascara, which was all about Wonder Woman cosplayers. And that was a much smaller group because it was specifically Wonder Woman cosplayers, but it was limited to being just a female space, and it was so positive, and the help that you could get was so constructive. And as somebody who's a sewer, also places like Replica Prop Forum, I feel like there is a little bit of sewist hate or looking down on that a bit. And so I never felt comfortable participating in any way. I'm like, even just making a comment or asking for help, because I felt like it would all be under the sewing umbrella, and what I would get wouldn't be helpful. So seeing how successful it was in the Amazon Sisters of the Mascara and then transferring that into SheProp, it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience to be part of it from the beginning. However, it is not now what it was when it first started. It has actually changed quite a bit. And Louisa, I know you had a pretty important part to play in that, particularly with expanding it from a female space to a much more inclusive space. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I happen to be a twin, and my twin happens to be agender or non-binary. So they use they, them pronouns. And I found, even just through talking to them, that despite not being female, they have the same experience a lot of the time that we as women do, where they are kind of othered by the male section of, you know, the crafting and cosplay community, and looked down on in the same kind of way and mansplained in the same kind of way. And I found this true of non-binary cosplayers and transgender cosplayers. They all have that kind of similar experience where, because they're not cis male, they have a different sort of online experience than you would as a cis male. So it felt kind of important to expand SheProp as a safe space for all of these identities, because they go through a lot of the same things that we as women do online, and they also needed a safe space. And I think we've found that sort of by expanding the group, it's still the same positive experience that it was, you know, when it started out as just female, just women, except now it's more inclusive, and it sort of has a broader range for more cosplayers and makers, which is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be clear, this change from a women-only space to one that was inclusive of trans and non-binary people, it was like 2 weeks. It wasn't very long.
Yeah.
As soon as I joined, I started
we talked
inviting.
about and was like, yeah, I think we should do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as I joined early on, I started inviting people, and a bunch of my cosplay friends are like trans and non-binary, so they were here from early on.
Yeah, and it totally made sense. And one of the things that I love about the group is that things that make sense for the group are suggested, and then we talk about it, and then it makes sense, and then we do it, because it is better for our whole community to be more inclusive like that, because we there's so many things that we can all do together and help each other out. And I'm so thankful for you, Louisa, for bringing that up and bringing that to our attention, because it definitely made, I have learned so much over the last few years just by that single act. And I feel like a better person, a better cosplayer, a better, like, all around everything, for having the ability to have conversations like this with people and to understand where people are coming from. So it's been really, really great to have that as an addition to the group.
I think too, it wasn't so much the decision to make it a more inclusive space to include transgender and non-binary and two-spirit makers and cosplayers. It was the implementation was a little more difficult, just because we had to really start thinking about how we change our language, how we address the group in general. When it first started, we were saying a lot of things like, "Hey, ladies," and, you know, "New announcement, ladies." Things like that seemed really intuitive for an all-female group. But when we opened it up to, you know, transgender and non-binary and two-spirit cosplayers, we had to really think about how we were talking to the group in general and encourage that kind of language moving forward. So I think that was kind of more of a transition, because it wasn't so much just saying we were going to do it. We had to actually do it and set an example and have it become sort of a thing throughout the group.
Yeah. To weave it into the fabric of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many gender neutral ways you can address a group like this. I mean, artists, cosplayers, makers, sewists, armor people. I mean, the list goes on and on. And all of those are gender neutral. So once we got into the habit of it, it did become much more natural and much easier to do, and much easier to see that spread throughout the group.
I think ShePropers is just the general gender neutral generic term that we see all the time now, as people could just go, "Hey, ShePropers," and that's awesome.
Do we know, or can we bring up any other major changes that we've started? I mean, I know one big one is that the founding members was this group, and Sharon, who wasn't able to be here today, and Heather, who's no longer involved. And I think that was it. And it is not run by just the six of us anymore, by any means.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, we now we have how many admins do we have? We had admins, we have moderators, we have branches of folks that want to be involved, but not in a moderating administration capacity. They want to be more involved with the events and content creation. We have a panelist team. We have editorial content. I know I already kind of said that.
We have a Spanish language group.
Yeah, we've got SheProp Latino America. There's a D&D group. I mean, we're starting Discord in March this month. Hopefully, by the time you watch this, it will have been launched. And also the marketplace, which is going to be a buy-sell trade space. So there's a lot happening. Lots and lots of change.
And how do you see it, or SheProp, serving the cosplay community in a way that you hadn't seen before? And I have an answer to this one if we can go first. I can go first. I'm moderating it. Abby, I'm calling on you. One of the things that I noticed that I found to be very helpful was when it comes to addressing concerns about particularly fit, how do I get this to fit? This is the body type that I have, or, I am busty and I need to have support. And how do I do that in armor? Or I'm having a hard time fitting this because it's cut for a curvy person and I'm not curvy. Those questions that really you have to talk about your body. You have to talk about what it looks like, and you have to get help related to that. I would be terrified of posting anything like that in other groups or even on my own page or anything like that. Just having a space where you can say, I need to add straps to this because I need to be able to wear a bra under it. Does anybody have any advice? And to get advice and get good advice. That is something that I don't see anywhere else. I love that part of SheProp.
Yeah. And no comments, like none of the stuff that you would see on other spaces. And I have to admit that, like, I use SheProp so much for all of my building, like, community needs. I don't go to the other forums anymore, and I've almost kind of forgotten what it's like. I mean, I'm never going to forget what it's like to experience those disparaging comments and all of that stuff, but I go there so less frequently now that it's when that does happen, I'm like, what is this? Oh, right. I'm not in SheProp. I have to kind of be careful. Like, going beyond our little bubble that we created is sometimes a shock, like reverse culture shock, I guess. I don't know. Sorry to interject.
No, that's fine. Does anybody else have something to add about that?
Same.
I mean, for me, I also do a lot of like different gender cosplay, because like I cosplay males, I cosplay females, and like I cosplay Loki all the time, but as a male Loki. So like going and bringing that into other spaces, like the RPF, is always sort of a, oh God, am I going to get comments about being a girl, or why aren't you cosplaying Lady Loki? Or, why are you so short? Or why do you look like a girl despite the makeup, or stuff like that? And it's just like, I can't handle that. And I don't get that response in SheProp, which is fabulous. Like, everyone is so supportive and so willing to listen to what you're asking. If you ask for help, they don't come in with unnecessary comments. They kind of listen to what you're saying and then say, okay, let's address this very specific thing without trying to, derail it into a conversation about something you weren't even talking about, which is great.
That's the part that I really love, is actually, addressing the question. Because I remember one particular scenario where somebody said, I just did my first test run and I hate it. I feel like it doesn't flatter me. It's not looking good. I never want to wear it, and I have to wear it, and I want to throw it in the garbage, and I'm really frustrated. And instead of getting a bunch of toxic positivity, being like, you look great and whatever, people were like, okay, you don't feel like you look good in this. Let's see what we can do to help. What can we do to get you to the point where you feel good? And with most things, it's a fit issue. Like, let's see, can we nip here? Can we change there? Can we raise a hemline? Can we lower a hemline? Like those kinds of things. But instead of just getting a bunch of unhelpful comments, people were like, I want to help. You need to feel good. How can we make that happen? And I really value that kind of thing. Anyone else?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I already answered the question, but
okay. Do it again.
Yeah, I can always talk. I from the executive producer end of things. One of the things that I really have been trying to do over the last few years, because I see another opening for things, is to give our members a platform and a little push and in a place where they can use their voice and they can speak on things, on topics, and continue these discussions in a safe space, but outside of the group, like these panels, or like podcast interviews, or any of the other event things that we have been doing, that we've been trying to fold into what we do as SheProp. I want to be that community that achieves that. I want to allow people to come to the group and know that we'll not only take care of you and we'll nurture you, but we will also try to enhance your cosplay experience by giving you some of the opportunities you might not ever have in some of these other communities or on your own. So that's something that is like a constant thing in the back of my mind. Like, what else can we do that's a little bit better? And I'm not sure that any of the other makerspaces or other groups are thinking about their members in that way.
Does anybody else have some thoughts on where they would like to see SheProp go moving forward?
Suggestion box.
So I have one. When I was brand new to the cosplay scene, so this was 7 years ago or so, I went to a women in cosplay meetup at a local comic book shop. And I met 2 people there who are still very good friends of mine. And once we can actually meet people again, I would really like to do that. I would like to have non-con related meetups that are SheProp, and you can work with local comic book stores or things like that to host them. For me, it was a really great experience actually meeting people in the community. So it wasn't just me wandering around a con by myself. I actually had friends. That meetup made me have friends. That meetup is how I met Beverly, because I met the person who got me into the Portland Superhero Coalition, which introduced me to Beverly. So,
oh my God, that's right. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So that's what I would like to see happen. Although who knows when? 2022, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We can make that happen for sure.
Yeah.
So does anybody have a favorite memory or favorite experience through SheProp that they'd like to share?
Oh, my favorite was the last con we ever had, that I ever had. New York Comic Con. What the heck year was that? 19?
Oh my gosh. 1918. 100 years ago.
Oh God. It feels
maybe.
like that. Yeah. But yeah, that was my first SheProp panel, and that was super cool. And just, I don't know, it's really fun. Everyone on it. I knew a couple of you guys, but there was a bunch of people on it that I didn't know and that are now friends and are just super awesome creators and people. And it was just a great experience doing the panel and like just listening to everyone's input. Like I learned a lot just sitting there listening. So it was great. It's fun.
Yeah, I wasn't on the panel, but I showed up, to harass you guys and whatnot,
Yeah, I saw you making faces.
Were you dressed as Loki when you did that?
Obviously.
Making faces?
Yeah.
I would never. No, I just remember like going over there and like watching you guys and seeing the people sitting there and you guys all up on your little table. And it was just like so cool to be like, wow, we have a panel at New York Comic Con. Like New York Comic Con, we have a panel. This is so cool.
It's cool. It's like legit.
Yeah, and I know, we've had other panels elsewhere, but like there's something about New York Comic Con where it's like, okay, this feels really cool now.
And Beverly, what about you?
Well, I just want to comment on the New York City, the NYCC panel. That was surreal. Just being back there in that capacity in New York and looking out and seeing all the faces, like, oh my God, people showed up and they're here and I recognize that person, that person. And okay, professional. Stop freaking out. You can do this. I think we have to like share a microphone. And anyway, it was fun. It was really fun. I can't wait to start doing those things again. It was great. But to answer the question, I have lots of favorite memories, but one of my first favorite memories of the SheProp thing was at Emerald City Comic Con. It was one of our first meetups. Abby, you were there.
Yeah, this was going to be my favorite memory too.
Really?
That room was
try
so
to talk
cool.
about it without crying, because I'm pretty sure I cried when people were coming into the room, and we set a meetup. They gave us a room. We all showed up at a certain time, and our plan was to have a group picture. And I remember like looking out at everybody and just being like, "Oh my God, these people showed up. This is a group. Everyone's happy, and I know all these people, and I've been talking to them online, and they're here, and they want to be here, and this is exactly what I was hoping for. Like we did it, and it was the most moving, just most beautiful moment, but most just amazing moment. I keep having those moments every time we have a panel or a meetup or something like that, where I just can't believe that it is a community and we're all in it together and we're all happy to be there. And it just makes me so happy, like heart explosion happy.
The Emerald City meetup was my favorite memory too, because it was our first one. And, I've done meetups before. We had an Amazon meetup, I think earlier that week or the year prior to that, I think.
Yeah.
And the year prior to that, we had an Amazon meetup and it went great. And there was a bunch of people and it was, 30 people there. And so we're like, maybe 30 people will show up. Won't that be fun? The room was so packed.
It was.
It was so packed. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible to get to see people that you had been interacting with online for a long time, to see the people whose work in progress pictures you've been seeing or that you provided assistance to with one thing or another, and to see it actually come together and to be able to connect with people face to face. It was great. And it also happened to be on competition day. So we got to see a lot of really cool costumes that day.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss cons.
Thank you.
I miss conventions.
Eventually. We'll be back eventually. More panels, more meetups, more cons, more competitions, more cosplay. It'll happen. But we are wrapping up with what we wanted to go over today. So please just go around one more time and tell us who you are and where we can find you on social media, and any final thoughts that you may have. Louisa, let's start with you.
I'm Silhouette of Silhouette Cosplay. If you see Loki, it might be me. There's a good chance it's me. So I'm Silhouette Cosplay all over social media except for Twitter, which has character limits. So I'm Silhouette Cos there. And I love this group so much. Like, it's one of those things where I didn't realize how badly we needed it until we had it and I could compare the difference. And I'm like, whoa, you mean there are places where we can have these amazing, helpful conversations in a productive, courteous, considerate, adult way. And that was just really, really fabulous once you could see the difference of having a space like this. So thank you, Beverly, for your frustration making this happen.
Anytime.
And Eliza, what about you?
I'm Eliza from Eldritch Arts. I think that's pretty much the same on all social media, just Eldritch Arts from Western Mass. I this group is awesome. I think the best thing for me is it's really cut down on like stress in my life. And as far as my projects I do, I'm less stressed because I can go on SheProp and like have questions and have discussions with people and actually get real answers that are going to help me with like materials and processes and stuff like that. And also it's a lot less stressful just going online and talking to people. I don't have to prepare for like craziness and insults and all kinds of stuff that you'd get on other parts of the internet. So it's just kind of improved life all around for me and other prop makers, I think.
And Beverly.
Well, I'm Beverly, Downen Creative Studios. That's pretty much everywhere on all the socials. And I think that you all know how important SheProp is to me. It is an extension of myself. And I think about it so much every day. I'm always noodling around trying to figure out ways to improve things and make it a better space. And so, yeah, I'm just so thankful and grateful to everyone that has been involved with making the space, the community, with what it is today, because there's no way I would have been able to do this by myself. Abby, you have been so important, such a foundation for me. I'm going to cry again. With not only admitting the group, but also with all the other projects and just the general support, because I can get a little crazy stressed with all of this. I tend to layer a lot of projects on myself and just trying to throw myself into this group. And I need the admins and the moderators to help me out. And they really do. There's so many people. You all put your hearts into this group. And there's no way that SheProp would be what it is today without everybody. So thank you very much. That's my final thought.
Well, and I'm Abby of Abby Cat Cosplay from Portland, Oregon. For me, I am somebody who doesn't like to let people peek behind the curtain much. I don't share work in progress pictures. I don't do the things like that. I only let people see the final result in the world. And I don't do that in SheProp. SheProp gets to see the ugly side and the frustrating side, and they get to see the failures. I had a particularly hard time dyeing velvet recently. And I shared that. It was velveteen. I shared that frustration in the group. But for somebody who doesn't feel comfortable sharing the weaknesses, I've found that SheProp is a place where you can do that and you don't have to worry about having that used against you. So I find it very valuable. But to end on something that's not quite so maudlin, everybody, come and join us in the SheProp community. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We will be starting a Discord. It's a really great supportive space if you are female, if you are trans, non-binary, two-spirit. We are happy to have you. Allies, just come and follow us because we share some really great artists. And thank you to our wonderful founding members who stepped up to be panelists today. So everybody, thank you for joining us and thank you for watching. And thank you everyone. To the team behind the scenes making this happen, particularly our editors, Mia May and Mittens. So have a great day. And now
bye.
Bye.